Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome to the East West Show. Jack Chow with the East West with the Jenny TV. I checked my own record starting last year, August, till this present time. For 9 months in a row, this show has been supporting a candidate for LA County Sheriff Department. And I also check about history of my show. I've never been with this show engaged this much for any candidate. And he is the only one. He is only one, nothing but. All right. So that is Mr. Bob Lindsay, former commander of LASD, now candidate for LA County Sheriff Department. So for the sheriff position, it is a very important position. That's why we all kind of at stake about, and this show pays this much emphasis to it. So, Bob, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Once
I appreciate
again.
it, Jack. Thank you.
And next to him is my other friend, Mr. Tom Yu. He was a former deputy of LASD, a wonderful, wonderful detective. Mm-hmm. He called himself a street cop. Well, street cop does a lot of job, and has lots of cases, even homicide cases handled. Right, and he nowadays, after retirement, he receives calls hearing about cases or whatever. Of course, that's another indication about the impotence of the current department. That's why you're running, right? Okay.
Yes.
Now to Tom, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jack.
Very good. And I know that this is not the first time you both on the show. And I know that lots of my audiences know that we support this candidate, and we know a lot about him, his own story, his tactics, his way of handling his leadership positions, and so on and so forth. But to most importantly, why we put together Mr. Bob Lindsay, candidate for sheriff, and the former detective Tom together, it is exactly we try to show the importance of the once glorious Asian Crime Task Force, right? So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about that force, and you want to probably later explain to my audience why that task force was canceled, was killed.
Yes.
Please.
So, thank you, Jack. So, as I indicated prior in your prior shows, in June 2016, the sheriff decided to officially end the Asian Crime Task Force, and there was a press conference given at that time at the Hall of Justice, and there were members of the press there, newspaper, and I think some of the folks, even from the mainstream media, showed up from LA Times. And the issue really was, for a very long time, our task force was very effective in bridging the gap between the sheriff's department and the community. That's very important because a lot of Chinese immigrants and just Asian Americans are not well served by a general policing structure. So having an Asian Crime Task Force just designated to serve that part of the citizen, not to abandon the others, but this team, well-trained deputy sheriffs, detectives were only tasked to investigate these crimes. The current sheriff made some statements to the media and saying, well, there's no crimes involving Asian gang members, there's no such showing, and even brought some of the activists from the community, and those are not true. I was there in the media, and I told the sheriff, we have open cases of violent crimes that are not solved, and we need to solve them.
All right.
And those were all disregarded. Now, bring you to the present day, within the past month, I've gotten 2 calls from victims of murders, families who were murdered by violent criminals, okay? And it's very difficult for me to process that information after I no longer is a police officer and then tell him.
We all know that Tom Yu was elite, one of the very elite of that Asian crime task force, that wonderful team, which was later on, well, regretfully canceled. And I believe the current sheriff must have had a good reason to cancel it 2016, June the 12th, right? So did he, what kind of a good reason, whatever did he have to cancel that, please?
You know, Jack, you want honesty on your show, right?
Yeah, please.
That's what we want, and I think
Yes,
your
yes.
viewers want that.
Yes.
So it's my belief, one, it never should have been canceled. There is no logical, good reason to cancel one of the most effective crime-fighting units in Los Angeles County. And it's not just a crime-fighting unit. It's like Super Detective Tom said. And he was a super detective.
Yes.
He solved homicides, murders. This man solved crimes that no other people
I know his story quite a bit.
could
Yes.
solve because of his knowledge of the Asian community. But he threw that whole Asian crime task force away because it was connected to Baca. That's my opinion. He wanted Baca's legacy gone. It didn't matter that he was hurting
Speaking
the
of
Asian
Baca,
community.
though, please allow me for a little bit, right? Whatever Baca was wrong, I don't care. That he pays his own time, whatever, for it, right? But we can't deny a whole person for a whole thing just for one thing, one reason.
Right.
In other words, I may make a mistake. You cannot punish me my whole life, deny my whole life for my mistake, though.
No, Sheriff Baca served 16 years as the sheriff, and they got mad at him over one issue.
Speaking of Baca, probably I should call him to get him here on the show with you.
He would be happy to come on this show with you, Jack.
You agree, right?
Of course.
Right,
He knows
okay,
exactly
yeah.
who you are, and he
Of
knows,
course.
and he loves
yeah.
your audience.
I have his home phone number.
Yes.
And not a problem, right? But the thing is that I want to make sure that I want to find exactly the Asian task force was canceled not only because of name. Under Baca, that was formed. Now Baca's gone. I want everything gone about Baca time. That is not the way we want it. That is politics. What we want is that we want a community safety.
Well,
So-
it's very much politics, and here's the thing. When you take a vibrant group like Tom, and he had many partners that were excellent investigators, focused on the Asian community. They weren't focused anywhere else. They were focused to service the Asian community. And when you take them away, and you actually get on TV like this sheriff did, and say there's no crime in the Asian community, well, how do these families that are calling Tom now, Tom is retired now, he left the department, he's an amazing attorney now, but when these families are calling Tom and saying, what's happening with my case? Who's doing what with my case?
Yeah, I know.
Tom feels bad. Tom feels bad because Tom knows he'd be solving it, but
They are the victim of the crime of the crime.
Well, they're the victims of Sheriff McDonnell not caring about their kids, not caring about those murders because they took him away so they can't be solved now. So whoever murdered them is still walking around in the Asian community.
That is unsolved.
Unsolved, walking
Unsolved,
around,
yeah.
and the Asian community should be fearful. And I'm going to tell you why. I am nothing as a cop in the Asian community unless I'm pulling over drunk drivers, unless I'm doing this, unless I'm doing that. You understand what I'm saying? We look for surface crimes. This man here looks deep into the hearts. He looks deep into the community. He understands everything that's happening inside because he knows the culture, he knows the language, he can solve
That's
it.
exactly why I want to dig so deep into the fact that why it was canceled, right? Okay, now, we may be wrong blaming him having it canceled just for a name Baca. He might have some strong reason. For example, the crime rate has been down. There is no crime at all. Do you have latest statistics to indicate the crime rate going up or going down to back him up or either back you up?
Well, let me tell you this. This sheriff, you can't believe anything this sheriff says. And,
Oh,
and
yeah?
I'm just being honest. He gets on TV and says crime is down in LA County. Let me give you a statistic. He says crime is down in LA County, and he, by the way, took all of his statistics off of his website because he doesn't want people to see the real crime. But the FBI doesn't take their crime stats down.
I see.
So the FBI just reported that in Los Angeles County, and everybody listen to this because this is important. In 2018, that is this year, January, February, March, and now April, homicides are up 55%.
55% up.
That's killings. That's deaths.
All
up
right.
55%. And this sheriff is saying crime is down. Now, the Asian community, and you know this, Jack, is humble. They're silent many times when crimes are occurring.
There are unreported crimes.
many unreported crimes because they don't even know who to report them to. You know who they used to report them to? This man right here.
To Tom, yeah.
To this
That's why
man-
he gets calls.
To this man and his team,
Oh my God.
they were getting more calls than the sheriff's desk because they trusted this team. They knew that they wouldn't come out if they're being antagonized, if they're being threatened.
All right.
They know that if they told Tom, Tom would do the work secretly. He would take care of them. He wouldn't come out there so that all these people saw, oh, we're with the police now. Because see, sometimes...
Has anybody,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm very sorry. I'm so excited. Has anybody at least one time tell him that, sir, what you're doing is wrong, please restore it?
Many times. He has been told many times. But you know what? He doesn't care. And maybe Tom has more information about that.
I mean, I specifically, numbers don't lie, like Bob is saying, in this notion that, well, there's the crimes committed by Asian gang members down or violent crime committed by the Asian community is down. Well, that's like saying, well, I don't go to the doctors for 5 years and I'm healthy. Well, you don't know what you don't check.
Yeah, you're right.
So that analogy is true in this case. Is that, like Bob was saying, these agents are not going to report the crime. They're not going to call.
The 55% is a strong number.
Well, that's an overall statistics, but I could tell you what the agents. I'll just give you another quick example. Last month there was a shooting in Rosemead on Rosemead Boulevard in Garvey. Okay, it's at a karaoke place. Okay, after the shooting occurred, I received probably conservatively 10 calls, different on active duty police officers,
I see.
detectives. And I had lunch with some of my old partners from the FBI that worked the Asian organized crime. They're like, we have no one that we can make a call and say who did the crime. They used to be able to call me, and I used to be able to call my informant and my sources. But one of the lead agents in the FBI's field office says, you know what, Tom, you, the sheriff's department, you lost the touch with the Asian community. That's what he told me.
Yeah, kind of the informant channel.
It's the community. It's you lost the touch. You
you're
lost
right,
the
you're
touch
right,
with
you're
your
right,
community.
you're right. And to back you up about the Asian crimes, Asian area or community crimes, there was last week, there is a robbery in JJ Cafe. You have seen that clip? Video clip?
On Inez and Garvey.
Yeah. All right. And in Inez and Garvey, guy just strictly walking, grabbed a wallet or something, in front of everybody's eyes.
Yep.
Right. So that indicates to me that crime is still there.
Crime it's not just there, Jack. It is exploding in Los Angeles County. And you know what? The public should be afraid. They should be afraid because right now they have a sheriff who wants to actually tell everybody it's not happening. If you don't recognize something, if you don't know it's happening, if you don't want to say it's happening, you're not going to fix it. And that's where he is right now.
Tom says you're going to see a doctor's check before you say I'm in good health, right? All right. My dear audience, the lovely audience, is welcome to the show. But, I feel sad on hearing the stories about LA as a county when our public safety security is concerned. We're at the risk. Our lives, our properties are at stake because of crime rate, when crime rate is rising, even from January to April, only 4 months, no, 3.5, rising by 55% though, you're really talking about astronomical numbers, right? So stay with us. We'll be right back. Today with me is the candidate for county sheriff of LA. In other words, the change of a hand. A hand changes everything. Whatever we call for a new hand. Bob Lindsay, and also a former detective, and the super detective, Tom Yu. So we'll be right back, please. Hello, my dear friends, lovely audience, ladies and gentlemen, my dear fellow Angelinos, welcome back to the show. It is an important show. If there are 100 shows for you to pay attention to, this is on top of the 100. The other 99 will may be of less importance because this is about our LA County Sheriff Department,
Yes.
who we pay tax to protect us, yet they are not doing a good job. Not only are they not doing a good job, they are telling us the crime rate is down, and yet FBI report just found out there's 55% increase since January of 2018 to now, which is a half of April, or not even half of April. We're talking about 3 months and 10 days, right? So that is very risky. That's why this brave man, commander of LA County Sheriff Department, is walking out with his 32 years of experiences, 28 years of which are on the leadership position, to campaign, to run for the seat, saying that, no, simply, I can do a better job, like that.
Yes, sir.
I do this all the time. I say, okay, otherwise we're friends, okay? I can take you to dinner, you can take me to dinner, vice versa. No problem. In terms of work, because I have to be responsible to whoever pay me to get the job done 100%. If anybody can do it, I say, hey, back up, I'll do it. This is my style. I don't know what is your style or not, just me, I can do the better job, right? For that, and this man walks out saying, I can do better job. Mr. Bob Lindsay, former commander, one of the 16 already of LA County Sheriff Department. Welcome back to the show once again.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
All right, good. And with him as a super detective, and I love the term because his story proves it, he had many cases amazingly resolved within hours, if not a couple of days, right? Or days, if not a couple of hours. For cases like, say, you had 8 o'clock or 8 hours or something, a deadline, to beat a deadline, and you had it resolved by the 6 something, by the 6 hour mark, so on and so forth. There are many of those. Now, yet unfortunately, the department that he represents, the Asian Special Task Force, was canceled due to it was a structure of Lee Baca time. Lee Baca may be wrong, but this department does an excellent job, which to me is politics, not public safety. Now, back to my friend Bob Lindsay. I would like to bring my audiences some update to your campaign. I know somebody like you with this many experiences and pinpointing those many big problems which are so obvious, such as the Asian Tax Special Force, right? Of course, you're running a very good campaign now, but how good it is so far?
Well, you know what, our campaign is very robust. I would ask all of your audience to go to bob4sheriff.com, and you can see all of my positions. But let me talk just a little bit. We talked about crime. Crime is up. LA County is now dangerous. The reason is because this sheriff doesn't keep anybody in jail. He lets everybody go back out into the public very fast. It's called flash incarceration.
Yeah, flash incarceration.
So if somebody does a crime, it's not the judge who decides how long they're going to stay in there. It's this sheriff. And so because he hasn't hired enough deputies, because he hasn't opened enough jails, because he hasn't done his job, that means that the public suffers. And so anybody from Riverside County, San Bernardino County, they're all coming here to commit their crimes because they know
all right, okay.
they don't have to go to jail here
All
or
right.
stay in jail.
It's the invitation kind.
We have given everybody an invitation to come here and commit their crimes. And that's just because of the sheriff. It's not because of the deputies. The deputies are excellent. But this sheriff, like taking away Tom and all of his people, is taking away the deputies' ability to fight crime.
Tom,
Yes,
you
sir.
have some Chinese root or some Chinese origin. I believe that you have heard some proverb in Chinese like that. They say, a stupid soldier might make himself a stupid soldier, whereas a stupid commander would stupidify a whole troop.
Yes.
That's what they say in Chinese, right? Okay. So that is, it sounds to me that way. And by that though, when you stand out, when you meet in the public to make your point clear though, I believe the contrast is so sharp that the audiences, the people, might know that we're about to see a brand new hand.
Well, Jack, you're right. You're absolutely. We do have a sharp contrast. This is the largest sheriff's department in the world, not just the largest sheriff's department here in the world.
Okay, in the world.
18,000 employees, 9,000 deputy sheriffs. It's an army, as you just said.
It's an army,
It is
yes.
an army. $3.2 billion budget, bigger than countries.
Okay.
So this is a massive, massive operation. You know, the current sheriff only has 3.5 years in that department. I have 40. He doesn't know what's happening in his own department. I know I get more phone calls, just like Tom gets calls about murders.
Exactly,
Tom gets calls
exactly.
about
Yeah,
burglaries,
yeah,
and he's
yeah,
not
right,
even on the
right.
department anymore. They're calling outside the department, Tom, please help us. Help us, because it's not getting done inside the department. The same thing happens with me on a daily basis.
I see.
People are calling me and saying, Bob, please help us. Help this department because it's falling apart. There's a crisis. And here's the sad part, Jack. When the sheriff's department falls apart, the community suffers.
Of course.
The sheriff's department
yeah.
suffers, but the real people who suffer are the community. Because you know what? When you pick up the phone and call a police car, they don't come right away. Maybe they don't come. When you call and you're being beat up and you dial 911, we used to be there in less than 3 minutes.
All right.
Now I'd be surprised if you see anybody in 15 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
This is the difference of what it should be and what it is today.
It sounds to me that you are running your campaign with a tailwind that helps you. The tailwind, of course, which is not the one we want to see,
No.
but it is there. When the public is aware of that, when you bring it to the awareness of the public about how things are handled, how crimes are handled, how truth are covered, of course, that's your momentum. Do you think so?
Yes, and I will tell you what the public wants, what the public needs, what your viewers want is honesty.
Yes.
Just tell us what's going on so that we
Yes,
know,
yes,
so that we
yes,
can
yes.
tell our kids. You know, if there's somebody out there that's molesting kids, do we want to keep it a secret or do we want to tell the moms and dads? We want to tell the moms and dads so they can protect their children, right? This sheriff doesn't tell the truth. He's hiding crimes. He's doing all those things on purpose. We got a call from Baltimore, Maryland, all the way across the country. And it's from a person who maps crime. He has a company. He's had it for 15 years.
I see.
The sheriff's department reports all their crimes to this company on a daily basis. They come in, they get the crimes, they post it, so all of us know where are all the crimes throughout the country.
I see.
The sheriff's department stopped giving him the stats.
We're safe.
So he called The sheriff's department. The sheriff's department said, "Well, we're not sure if it's right. We're going to see. Well, when are you going to give me the statistics?" Baltimore asks. They say, "Well, maybe in 60 days or so after the election," because they want to hide the truth from the public. Do you know that the LA Times is suing the sheriff's department right now?
That I don't know.
They're suing the department because the sheriff is refusing to give them information that they're entitled to. He's hiding information from the papers even.
All right. First, we thought about he's afraid of LA Time. Now that we know probably he's afraid of his information release.
He's afraid the LA Times will find the truth because he doesn't want the truth in the papers.
All right, okay. And Tom,
Yes.
I know that you've been in the service for long enough and you've been handled with the bad guys for long enough, though. The bad guys, when you you push them to a corner, though, they'll shrink, right? By logic. And when you lose them for 3.5 years, though, on the losing up basis, some kind of crime, I don't know how you call it, format or habit is showing up.
Right.
And that's for him to take, once he takes office,
Well,
things are kind of more challenging.
Well, right, because the criminals know that the
Pattern,
task force
pattern,
is
Crime
not
pattern.
out there on Friday, Saturday nights. But what Bob said was very true, because you have McDonald's an outsider. This current sheriff doesn't know how to run. Bob laid out the problems. Well, the problem's only in existing because this sheriff allowed it to be in existence because he doesn't know how to prevent it and how to cure the problem. It's kind of like saying you have healthcare in the United States, and you have, Kaiser, and let's say you have Anthem Blue Cross. Well, Anthem Blue Cross is different from Kaiser. Are they both good healthcare? Yes. So to compare, the sheriff's department is kind of like Kaiser. Everything's in-house. There's a way to do things. Well, if you bring an outsider from Anthem Blue Cross that managed an HMO plan, well, they're not going to know how Kaiser functions.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot put triangle into a square. And that's what's going on now.
Exactly like he says. The guy has 3.5 years of experiences versus his 40.
cutting.
So you're talking about 10 times.
Yeah.
the
You
experience
cannot
difference,
change the
right?
way Kaiser works. It
Of
works
course, of
in its
course.
own.
Of course.
You have your HMO and
The
PPO.
same thing,
that works.
Same thing. I'm not saying I'm the best man on earth, but to the show, though, I believe I'm the one because I've been here long enough.
Right.
Bob, the same case. All right, my dear friends, my lovely audiences, it really surprises me that LAPD and LASD is being sued by LA Times, right? What a wonderful story. Why? Because they're hiding, I don't know, there's something wrong, something they are afraid of. I mean, something the sheriff is afraid of. So let's find out when we come back. So today with me is the candidate for county sheriff, the guy, the new hand for the department, Mr. Bob Lindsay, former commander. He's been there for 32 years plus 7 years altogether. You're talking about 39 years. Well, now we round up to 40.
40.
Right? Yeah. And then versus his incumbent, well, 3.5. Well, so anyway, I don't know how mathematically it works. So with him also is my friend Tom Yu, a super detective, street cop, according to himself. So we'll be right back after this short break, please. Hello, my dear audience, lovely audiences, my dear fellow Angelinos, Andrelinas, well, my friends, welcome back to the show. Oh, by the way, you guys who wrote me emails to like the show or not like the show, to make suggestions or recommendations, whoever, or some of you even talk high about Bob Lindsay, I thank you very much for at least indicates that you are a good watcher of the show, right?
Thank
Anyway,
you.
so today with me once again is my good friend, Mr. Bob Lindsay, Commander Bob Lindsay of LA County Sheriff Department. He is running for the sheriff position with so sure, so determined, with the tailwind going so strong, 55 miles per hour. I flew in 55 per hour, tailwind. An 11-hour trip made in with 10 and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a very fast
No,
trip.
no, 12. 12 hours of trip made it 10 and a half.
Very nice.
Because of tailwind.
And they saved gas.
Save gas, all right, good. And let's save some gas. He has the tailwind because we have seen enough. On one hand, we may not know the numbers of 55, but we do know JJ was robbed. JJ Cafe was robbed, right? We know 2 or 3 Asian homes were broken in during the last 2 weeks, right? So those are the things we know. Okay, now that we call the tailwind to his campaign, not good to the community. However, when the community learns enough lessons, they will say, Bob, please serve us. Please protect us, right? Okay. Now with him also, my friend, Tom E., the super detective, like him a lot. The people like him a lot. His victims, even the family members of victims, even call him today, say, hey, Tom, where's the case? Right? How did you handle the case? Tom says, well, Tom had nothing to say because the department, the Asian Special Task Force, was canceled. All right. Tom is forced to retire anyway. Okay, now, that's the status quo. Status quo being that we need a new hand. We can't afford, if there's anything, for example, my bathroom needs a mirror. I can decide, let's do something. Let's take care of it, like say when I have time. And if the water is flowing, the downstairs are crying, so I have to handle this emergency. So Bob is ready to handle the emergency. All right. So with the status quo given, with the crime rate given, with the task force, the regretful cancellation of that given though, how ready are you? I know that you are facing a huge challenge. And Tom even talked about the crime pattern being nurtured over the 3.5-year period. So you are facing lots of challenge. How ready are you, sir?
I'm ready day one to go in. And I'll give you an example. When I was on the department, I was the captain of personnel. I hired more than 5,500 deputies in my career. There's deputies all throughout the department that I personally hired. My name was on the signature line of them coming into the agency.
Okay.
Do you know that this sheriff is seeking help from England to tell him how to hire people?
Oh.
Now, and let me keep going, because he was just at the Board of Supervisors yesterday asking for thousands and thousands and maybe $1 million to help him figure out how to hire people.
How to hire people?
You know what? All that sheriff had to do was call my cell phone. If he would have called me on the phone, I can tell him how to hire people.
You don't want to give them free though.
You know what? I would give him the information free, because you know what? The community is suffering.
Yes, all right. Thank you for saying that.
The community is
Thank you for
suffering,
saying that,
and I will tell you that day one, we will be coming in and we will be focusing on hiring. And we will be focusing on hiring. Wait, Jack, wait.
Go ahead.
From the Asian community.
All right.
We need a lot more people from the Asian community in our department. Look how the Asian community has exploded here in LA County.
Yeah, all right.
This sheriff doesn't care. He got rid of the task force. Do you think he cares about hiring from the community? He doesn't. He didn't hire for 3 years. So that's 3 years of jobs that we could have been giving to young kids and people coming up in the Asian community that understand it. And today they could be working on this department. There's nobody working.
It is a multi-layer problem that he has caused.
It's problem. Let me explain. Crime, the homeless situation, the mental health situation.
Okay.
We can go on and on about all the situations, the response times to calls, school safety. Our kids are in danger with this sheriff being there.
Exactly.
You know what he said? There's 2,200 schools in LA County. We don't have enough deputies to cover that. Okay, is that an answer?
Oh.
That's not an answer.
That's a bull, yeah.
The answer is, look, we have 2,200 schools that we have to protect. Now let's get out there and protect them.
Yes, yes.
And
yes,
we
you're
figure
right.
out how to do it. We just don't say we don't have enough money and we don't have enough bodies.
Okay, all right.
That is not an answer.
All right, all right, all right. But after all, just now you stopped me asking you questions. I was really, really wondering, are you serious? Are you telling the truth that the sheriff of LA County Department needs help from London to show him how to hire?
Yes, he hired a company as a consultant to come to America to tell them how to hire people on his department.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. That is crazy because they don't know anything about LA County. But yet we have myself and all of those people who helped me hire many years ago are still around. They know exactly how to hire. But yet he goes across an entire ocean to bring somebody
right,
in
you're
here
right.
who doesn't even know what they're
Hey,
doing.
Tom, I know you had a baby, newborn baby. Did you hire anybody from England, say Scotland, for example, to teach you how to change diapers?
No.
No? Your wife does?
Yes.
Right? All right. So you didn't hire anybody, right?
No.
To me, hiring for a sheriff
Yes.
is as easy, as basic as changing diapers.
You know,
I'm
Jack,
not exaggerating.
well, it's not that easy, but I will tell you,
Okay.
do you know who the best recruiters are for the sheriff's department?
Who?
The deputy sheriffs of Los Angeles County.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he had hired all of the deputies, he would have somewhere about 8,500, but he didn't.
He knows the job, right?
So let's say he has 7,500 deputies.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how fast 7,500 deputies could find people to hire? Good people
Yeah,
in
you're
Los
right, you're
Angeles
right,
County.
you're right, you're right.
We can hire from all across the country, but just in Los Angeles County, there are good people. Do you know that this sheriff says there's not enough good people in Los Angeles County?
Oh, no, that's an insult.
It's an insult to all of Los
I'm a
Angeles
good
County.
people, yeah, I'm a good
To
people.
all
I'm
of
a
Los
good
Angeles
people.
County. He doesn't think there's enough good people here that can fill these deputy positions.
Well, that's an insult. That's an insult.
It
you know.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
We have 10 million people already. And
We do.
Of the 10 million, well, I don't think so. I don't think so. That's
No.
quite a
Well, see,
deep
Jack,
reading.
you should be our consultant because right
Yeah.
there, you
Yeah,
have better
yeah, sure,
information.
sure.
You have better information.
I
than
can
sheriff.
I can do my part.
That's right.
I can do my part. Okay, now endorsement wise, I know you have lots of endorsement.
Mm-hmm.
Want to share some with us?
Well, we've got endorsements coming in from all over the place, whether it's the Hispanic community, the Chinese community.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I don't look for political endorsements. You want me to tell
Oh,
you why?
no. Oh,
No,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just going to tell
No,
you why. Because
I
think
know
it's
you
a-
don't, but
I
why?
think it's important that the public understand, because I'm not a politician, and that's the problem with
It
this.
better
current-
not be.
Yeah, the current sheriff is. He's a politician, so he listens to this group over here that's yelling really loud, and he says, "Okay, I want to make them happy, so I'm going to do this." And then he listens to this group over here who's yelling at him, and he goes, "Okay, then I'm going to do this." And he doesn't make his decisions based on the people and law enforcement. He makes his decisions based on politics. And
Exactly.
anytime you do that, it's going to fall apart.
Exactly. Remember just to talk about the fact that anything under Lee Baca during Lee Baca time,
Yes.
even the good things deserve to be canceled because it represents Lee Baca time.
Lee Baca worked from his heart. Now, Lee
Okay.
Baca made some mistakes
that's
because he worked from his heart. But I'm going to tell you this.
Uh-huh.
Lee Baca had programs in the jail that gave people high school educations. He had programs in the jail that gave them jobs
Okay.
so that when they got out, they wouldn't come back. He did all of these things, many of these things, the youth programs out in the communities.
The
where-
Asian Task Force.
where kids could go to. These are crumbling. Everything that he had built is crumbling. And you know, many of these programs, and many of your audience may remember Sheriff Sherman Block. I don't know if you remember Sherman Block.
That's before Lee
But he
Baca,
was the
yeah.
sheriff before Lee Baca. Sherman Block started building all sorts of good programs. And then Sheriff Baca came in and said, "You know what? I loved the way Sherman Block was building programs." And Lee Baca built them big. And then Sheriff McDonald comes in and he destroys everything that Block did.
Swipe it out.
Everything that Baca did. And in 3 years, he takes our department, which we love. we love this department, and he destroys it in 3 short years.
Because he wanted to be politically right.
He's a politician.
He's a politician. All right, my dear friends, to protect the community is not a politics. I can argue for another day, another year, whatsoever. It is by no means protection means politics.
No.
Politics is politics. Protection, what we're talking about. Now we put the protection of our huge county, number one, the biggest on global Earth, with the 10 million people, in the hands of somebody who just wanted to be politically right, who doesn't know of hiring, how to hire, so that hire somebody from London across all the way to show him to babysit him for hiring, though, and that really makes the whole community worry. I'm selfish, so I worry about my own safety, right? So today with me is my good friend, the former commander of LA Sheriff Department, Bob Lindsay, now candidate for the sheriff position. He has almost 40 years of experiences in the department for the job, versus the fact that we have the incumbent so far been there for 3.5 years, who made a mess so far of the whole LA County. And the crime, whereas crime rate is 55% high, according to FBI statistics, and the fact that the LA Times assumed for him for concealing those numbers or statistics. And well, we're really talking about we're at a critical time, critical moment that we need to do something. Stay with us, please. Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome back to the East-West Show. Now we're talking about the LA County Sheriff Department. LA County Sheriff Department is a big department that is the biggest on the global earth, with 18,000 employees total, 9,000 of the deputies so far. Now we are short of hands. We're down to 5,500 something, according to last time I talked about, right? So, what causes that? The number of the lack of deputies.
Incompetence.
Incompetence.
The sheriff is incompetent in hiring. He didn't know how to do it. This sheriff, McDonald, came from LAPD. He went to Long Beach for a minute, but he came from LAPD. LAPD doesn't hire their own police officers. There's a complete different unit that hires for them. So when he came to the sheriff's department, he didn't know what he was doing. So for 3 years, he forgot to hire people. He didn't have enough people in recruitment. He didn't have enough people in backgrounds. And so the numbers kept going down and down and down until finally one day he woke up and they said, oh my God, we have a crisis.
Too late.
We don't have enough deputies. We can't patrol. We're going to lose contracts. We can't put any more school deputies in the schools. We can't do this. So he is now in crisis mode, so much so that he went to the board and is now asking for help on how to hire, asking for more money. Now, where does this money come from, Jack?
Yeah, you mentioned the $3.1 billion. That's a lot of a big budget.
It's not enough for him.
No?
He has $3.2 billion that he is spending the wrong way. And I'll tell you, he's asking for more money. $3.2 billion isn't enough for this sheriff.
Oh, $3.2 billion is not enough.
No, he wants more of the taxpayers' money. So now he's asking for help on hiring. But let me tell you where he's $40 million over budget right now. Already.
$40 million over budget.
$40 million over budget. And so he doesn't know how to even run his own budget correctly. He's millions of dollars over in overtime. Why? Because he hasn't hired enough deputies. So we don't have enough patrol service. We don't have enough people in the courts. We don't have enough people in the jails. It's all going crazy.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yes.
When he has a short of hands, he make the deputies do extra shifts,
They have to do extra
and the
shifts.
extra shift calls for 1.5, right?
Yes.
1.5 pay.
Yes.
In other words, you're paying extra 50%.
They're all getting overtime. That's correct.
I see.
But that's
I
not
see.
the end of it. When you spend your money, like I'll give you an example. Youth programs are closing, right? Mm-hmm. And he spends money on his car, $100,000 on his car, because he wants the best.
$100,000
Yes, he wants the
car?
best car in the world. It's a Denali. It's a super Denali. It's not as good as his Super Detective.
For who? For
but
who?
for him. It's a Super Denali. It's black. It's
For
jet
himself?
Black. For himself. Well, that's not just it. In Aero, he had his own helicopter. He has 9 drivers that protect him. He has a complete. Lee Baca, Sheriff Baca had 1 driver. He has 9. Now he could take 8 of those and put them in schools to protect our children. He could take 8 of those to help the homeless. He could take 8 of those and put them somewhere. But he's not using his money correctly.
I see.
He's misutilizing it. He's misspending. I'll tell you, he spent millions of dollars just to change the deputies' belt buckles.
Yeah, you mentioned that. From silver to gold, right?
Silver to gold, because he thought gold looked better for the deputies than silver. So he took the taxpayers' money and he decided he was going to change all their uniforms.
All right, good.
He then changed their shirts. He gave them heavier shirts so that the deputies could burn up in the summertime, so that they could be hotter,
Oh my God.
so that they could be miserable. Why? Because he didn't like how the badge looked right here with the other uniforms.
Once again, you're talking about politics.
It's all politics.
Politician, the showy stuff.
It's showy.
And
That's
that kind
it.
of thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Certainly, I would say there's a lot of laughing stocks with these with this character. I do really have a big problem, to have somebody use the taxpayers' money in the way he spends. For $100,000 for a car for himself?
It's no big deal to him. He's happy to do it.
I've been working for this country for 35 years, so I deserve a car of that quality.
I believe you do.
Yeah.
Just go to Jim McDonald and he'll give it to you.
You'll kill me. How can we kill me?
Oh, there's more that he does with cars. Trust
I
me.
see.
He has friends who have cars. So he takes the
I
taxpayers'
see.
money. And
Sounds like corruption to me.
Well, it is corruption. There is corruption all throughout the sheriff's department. And you know what? When we come in there, we'll show the public. We will be transparent. We'll
All right.
show the LA Times.
Okay. And it is exactly about time to hear what you want to do, hear your plan, though. So it looks to me pretty much it is corrupt already there. So once you're in, what will be your first kick?
Well, the first thing is to go in and clean out the corruption. There's lots of people in there that I can tell you have cheated their way up on exams. So they didn't deserve to be promoted because they cheated. Okay? So we're going to go in and we're going to clean out the department of all those people who have cheated, who have lied, and who have put themselves in positions that they shouldn't be. Next, I'm going to surround myself with all of the right people, the honest people, the people who have worked hard their whole careers.
Yes, right.
And because they didn't,
They're extension of your arms.
of course, and because they weren't in the good old boy system, they got outstanding evaluation, many outstanding evaluations, but they never got promoted because they wouldn't do the wrong things, right?
All right, good. Yeah,
So
yeah,
they
yeah,
always
right,
did the
right,
right thing, but they're still sitting there. All those people doing those right things are going to end up rising up in the department because you can trust them to do the right thing.
Okay.
And so we will have a great staff around us, but most of all, we are going to put back the community programs. And you know, when he came in, we didn't talk about it, but he got rid of the Chinese community programs. So we had Chinese community advisors,
Yeah,
Asian advisors.
yes,
Not
yes.
the Asian Crime Task Force.
Yeah, you're right.
The
you're right.
community. He took it, and because Baca had put it together, he crumbled it. And so there's all those community advisory committees are gone. Whether it's the Chinese, the Asian, the Armenian, the Pakistani, the Hispanic, they're gone. Why? Because he doesn't think he needs them. Well, you know what? If you're a sheriff and you don't think you need the community,
isolating himself.
well, he's isolating himself because he doesn't think he needs anybody until his campaign started. Now that his campaign started, he's everybody's best friend.
Oh, he is. Huh?
Oh, he's coming out into the communities and saying, "Look at me."
After all, we haven't heard from
for 3
from you
years.
for anything.
For 3 years, you never saw him, but
You
now
never saw him, yeah.
he wants to be everybody's best friend.
But the thing is that we do not have extra money for him to squander, and we need more deputies to be hired, right? And we need to change the culture. Corruption will never work. We need schools, 2,300 schools to be protected.
Yes,
right?
all of it.
And we have 11 million people to be protected, right? So people like Tom, you will get him back.
Well,
to your
I'm
team?
going to beg Super Detective Tom to come back, but
Yeah.
you know, I'll tell you, Tom didn't have to resign. Tom chose to resign because he saw what was happening in the department.
Yeah, you're right.
But
Tired of seeing
also,
him. Yeah.
but also because Tom is one heck of an attorney, and I'm going to tell you that Tom goes out and he represents deputy sheriffs. Now he can represent other people too, but he saw so much corruption in the sheriff's department and so many deputies being mishandled, and by this sheriff, cheated by this sheriff, that he decided, you know what, I'm going to go out and have a voice. I'm going to go protect people who don't have anybody to protect them. And so that's what he does now. He goes out and he defends.
Yeah, he just showed me his briefcase.
Yes.
There are files in there, those employee files or so forth. Yeah.
You know what, the things that Tom hears now are corruption cases. That's what he hears.
Okay.
And he goes to court and he does the best he can to defend. But you know what? For all the community and for everybody else, it's really hard when you come up against liars. When you come up against a police agency who's willing to lie, and they are willing to lie, it's very hard to beat them. But you know what? He beats them.
To Tom, though, would the department hold its position versus the request of LA Times? Is it a crime not to provide the public information?
Right. So under the Public Records Act, a public entity such as the County of Los Angeles, the Sheriff's Department, they shall release these information when requested. There's a process. You fill out the form.
Unconditional.
Unconditional. I mean, there are several exceptions that the government code prescribes to say, well, if you have a personnel record, if you have ongoing investigations, such sensitive information where you don't have to release it to the public, but absent that, you got to release it. It's a shell.
And also another attorney question: to seal this 55% of crime-raising information, is that a crime?
It's illegal to do. It's illegal to.
It's a legal issue.
It's illegal to intentionally mask the statistics of crime to the public and misrepresent these numbers. And quite frankly, take aside from the ethics point of view, just a matter of transparency. You know, the public deserves to know what's going on in the community, and the public deserves to know where the crimes occur and the true numbers. Because to date, we don't have a true number that's represented by the Sheriff's Department. They're dancing around the numbers. They, as Bob said, they took the numbers up, they took the numbers down, and that tells me you have something to hide.
And also another attorney question: to the way the corruption it is corrupted, and for example, 9 drivers to serve 1 man, is that does that ring an issue to you?
I mean, it certainly borders line the misappropriation of public funds. I mean, to have 9 different drivers to serve 1 public official, that's, you know, it's he's not the president of the United States where you need a Secret Service detail to follow him around. I mean, certainly I think 9 is...
you have to be a president of the United States.
Well, I mean, to have a detail following you, that's I think that's very unreasonable. Like Bob said, you know, 9 per. The other 8 folks, they can go back on patrol, they can supervise, they can do a lot of things.
Yeah, extra
public
job
safety.
too, right? Right.
Yeah.
You know, Jack, he's willing to protect himself with 9 people, but he's not willing to protect the Asian community. To me, that's a crime.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking him.
Well,
Because
it's not a penal code crime,
feel-
but it's a
feel-
crime of.
it feel
yeah.
kind of like I feel kind of like it's not right. Something that I smell not right.
Well,
okay.
this is an act of, I believe, in the eyes of the law, we have a saying that's moral turpitude. This is an act where you're intentionally misappropriating your resources to circumvent and to really grossly abandon a community that's very much in need. And they are screaming. They're just not screaming at him or the other folks, but they are screaming. They're not being heard. And Bob's going to change that.
Okay, Bob, it looks that everything is on you. We have to, well, you said you beg him, right? We have to beg you.
Jack, it's not on me, it's on us, and it's on your viewers.
All right.
Because if we want to make a change, they have to vote. And
All right.
if they don't vote, and they need to vote B.O.B., Bob, I'm the first one on the ballot for sheriff. If they don't vote, they're going to end up with this guy, this current sheriff, for another 4 years.
All right.
And he's already destroyed the department in 3. So what's going to happen in 7?
Oh, yeah, okay, all right. So of course, you're talking about another 5 years.
4,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, this term is half
Oh,
a
yeah.
year ago,
Well,
right?
he's got
Okay.
a little
Right.
left.
My dear audience, we're way well over time, but I want to shrink myself to give the time to Tom and Bob, and we deserve it. We will, in a very compact way, do this kind of show from now till June, right? And I want to make sure that you really hear my message, really go walk out and cast your vote on him, because he earns it, he deserves it, and yet another way, we earned it, we deserve it. We deserve to have a better hand.
Yes.
Something like that, all right? Okay, to Tom, thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you
Thank
for
you for
having
being a
us.
super cop, super detective, and thank you for helping Bob, and thank you for running, and thank you for taking office. To me, you're a sheriff already.
Thank you, sir.
All right,
Thank
good.
you.
I'll see you next time.
Take care. Bye-bye.